usually start these.
Oh, that's all right.
Anyhow, what was the impetus behind the nighttime practice?
Oh, just get under the lights. It's not a major difference, but I thought it'd be good for the guys to go out there, and especially the pass catchers, punt returners, kick returners, just to get the feel for that. So it wasn't a massive change to the schedule. We just kind of moved everything back a couple hours, and it worked out well.
Yeah. And with that, how's one thing that's been mentioned by a number of players is they're starting to feel the excitement of there being a game on Saturday. Can you, I guess, see that among them and kind of feel that being around the facility and around campus?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I noticed it with the players as soon as we came back from their day off Sunday and got back in on Monday. That game week rhythm, the excitement, the energy building towards the game. Thought we had a really good practice this evening. Guys were tuned in, and I thought did a really nice job. So you definitely feel it around the building. You feel it with the players, and even the stadium. You got trucks moving around, and they're putting seats up and having the lights on, and there's tents outside. So that all adds to it.
It doesn't really feel real until there's that line of porta potties up on the stadium rim, does it?
Trace, I'm not sure I've noticed that, but I'll look when I'm driving in tomorrow.
That's where I walk down when I come for media availability. Okay. So, yeah. Let's see. Just housekeeping stuff. Are there any more guys who won't be able to play on Saturday, or is it just kind of what you've announced in the past?
Yeah, nothing new. We think everybody's, unless we've mentioned it, everybody will be available to play. So we're going to dress a lot of guys, and I think we talked about this yesterday. I believe it was. There'll be a number of guys playing in the game. Multiple people at multiple positions.
Yeah, and with that, just do you have a number in your head as far as how many you anticipate to play?
Not necessarily. I mean, I'll have it for you after, but it'll be a greater number of guys rotating through than a year ago, without question.
I should probably cede the floor to Jeff at this point.
Yeah, sorry, I was a little tardy getting out. Am I unable to record, Kyle?
I will record, yes.
Okay, great. Justin, you've had another day and a half since we talked to you last. Any new revelations about what you're seeing in Nevada? Anything that got your attention in the last?
Oh, sorry to cut you off there. No, I mean, we did a lot of work on Nevada in summer, and then as we talked about yesterday, last week, really dove in on the initial part of the game plan, and so watching more and more tape now. As we all know, the first game of the year, you have game film to work off from a year ago, and teams change and there's new wrinkles. So I would imagine we're going to see something different. There will be wrinkles, in their offense, defense, and special teams. And so we're going to have to play plays on principle. But we got a ton of respect for them. The more you watch them, you understand why they're so highly thought of, and it'll be a great challenge for our guys.
But the new wrinkles goes both ways, right?
Yeah, you bet. I mean, it's, whether it's the first game of the year, the bowl game, those type of situations where there's just a lot more lead up time. Plus the teams change and they have different strengths and weaknesses. Now we know who the returners are, just like they know who our returners are, but there's always, a bit of the unknown, and you spend time in the off season kind of tweaking scheme, how, doing things that you think might fit your team a little bit better. So I'm sure they do the exact same thing.
A follow-up, just how excited do you think you and your staff and your team will be to, this is more like what it was 2 years ago, where you actually have fans and it's the semblance of normalcy is back. What's that feeling like as you're getting close to the game?
Trace mentioned it earlier, but just the energy around the stadium, the Monday meeting after we came back from our day off, just the buzz in the meeting rooms, and going out to practice, there's a bounce in the step. And then you notice the tents up outside the stadium, and the ticket booths, and the concession trucks are kind of moving around, and there's new signage in the stadium. So all those things just bring it all to life. And so I think like you and all of us, we're just excited to be back out there with people in the stands. And our role is to go out and play our best football. So we're looking forward to the challenge Saturday night.
Last year, as you went into each game, obviously your first game didn't even happen. They switched it over immediately, and you had that happen a couple of times. Was last year more of like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, and this year you can sort of just, you got a football game at 7:30 on Saturday night?
There's much more, I guess, of that traditional rhythm, so to speak, of the week. There's, not that we're out of the woods, so to speak, but I mean, it is, the schedule hasn't been interrupted as of yet. Of course we'll do that, but I mean, as of yet, the schedule hasn't been interrupted. We've been able to stay on course throughout fall camp and expecting the same this week. So that is different, and really focusing on the team and getting better and game plan and some of those things without some of the other unknowns that were there a year ago.
Are you now at 100% vaccination?
We are very, very close, very, very close as a program. So I don't know if the administration, if Jim Knowlton or the doctors are going to release a statement any different than they have already, but the football team is very, very, very close.
And before I give it back to Trace, one of the things that's going on everywhere on the West Coast, obviously, is all the fires, the smoke, and Reno, Nevada was affected by this, directly. They had to move into the Bay Area for 2 weeks of practice. There's nothing you can really do about it, but how much concern do you have that as the fall continues and the fire season persists, that it could impact a game you're playing at some point?
Yeah, it's something that we talk about. And first and foremost, I mean, the people's lives who've been affected and who may be affected by the fires. I mean, your heart goes out to them, because that it's got to be just a traumatic experience, and people are having to pick up and move and not sure if their house is going to be there when they come back. As it relates to the football games and practice, we do talk about it. There are a number of contingencies. We know where all the fields are throughout Northern California, the Bay Area, and even outside our local footprint that might be possibilities if the winds and the smoke, would drive us out of here. And so it's something that we don't have control over that part of it, but we do have control over the preparation and our administration. And we've talked at length about that.
So you actually have talked to other locations, and,
Oh yeah,
and they've said, yes, you could come if you need to.
yeah, we basically build a list, kind of starting as close as we would be where you think that the smoke might not be as bad, and then work out. And so our administration works on that. Jim Knowlton and our sport administrator, Jay Larson, they spend time working on that and making the phone calls, and we just kind of brainstorm on the fields and the facilities that could potentially house us for practice and or games.
Sure. And you can certainly follow the lead of Nevada and call Stanford and see if you could practice there, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that'd be I don't know if they pick up the phone, but I think everybody is doing that, really in the Northwest and the western part of the United States. I mean, just based on the last few years, I mean, it seems like we've had four or even 5 years where it's come up. And so it's part of our planning process each and every year now.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Chris does have another interview here in a couple minutes with the radio station, but if